13th day of February, the year being 2025. We are so glad you're watching a broadcast brought to you by the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation in partnership with the Parliamentary Business Broadcasting Unit. In the highlights, in the order of business this afternoon, is the bill lined up for the second reading on the Public Holidays Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 31 of the year 2023 by Kiambu Senator Karungu Wathangwa. And after the business under order number 8 on the Public Holidays Amendment Bill has been considered by the House, senators this afternoon are set to debate a motion on the report of the Mediation Committee on the Conflict of Interest Bill. This is National Assembly Bills number 12 of the year 2023 by the Vice Chairperson Mediation Committee, and the chair on behalf of his committee is seeking to have the Senate adopt the report of the Mediation Committee on the Conflict of Interest Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of the year 2023, and this report was laid on the table of the Senate on the 5th of December 2024, and further that pursuant to Articles 113 subsection 2 of the Constitution and Standing Orders number 167 subsection 3 of the Senate, the House approves the mediated version of the Conflict of Interest Bill. The Public Fundraising Appeal Bill, Senate Bills number 36 of the year 2023, a bill that seeks to regulate matters fundraising and harambes in the country, is lined up for resumption of debate this afternoon. The debate on this bill was interrupted on the 28th of November 2024. So what we actually have at this particular juncture is that the House will be resuming debate for the remainder of the period of the time allocated for debate on the public fundraising bill. After that, the House will move into division, where the House will be voting to adopt the bill and subsequently the proposals in the Public Fundraising Appeals Bill, Senate Bills number 36 of the year 2024. The Senate leader of the majority party, Senator Aaron Cheriot, is this afternoon expected to make a statement on the business of the Senate for the week commencing Thursday, the 18th of February 2025, and this statement will be made pursuant to Standing Orders number 57, subsection 1. Under Standing Orders number 53, subsection 1, we have about 5 senators who are set to seek various statements. A senator for Kissi County, Senator Richard Onyonka, will, pursuant to the Standing Order 5.3, subsection 1, seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Matters Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries regarding the impending dissolution of the Pyrethrum Processing Company of Kenya, PPCK. The senator for Mombasa, Senator Mohamed Faki Mwenyehaji, will be seeking a statement from the Committee on Health regarding the deteriorating state and services of matters to do with health in Mombasa County. Senator Hamida Kibwana, her statement will be from the Standing Committee on Matters Health regarding the viability of the agreements entered by the Ministry of Health and the county governments under the National Equipment Support System, NESP, for the supply and lease of the medical equipment to the county public health facilities. The senator equally has another statement that she is expected to seek this afternoon from yet again the Committee on Health regarding the tragic death by suicide of Mr. Francis Njuki, a medical intern at Thika Level 5 Hospital. A senator for Embu County closes that chapter under Standing Orders number 53 by seeking a statement from the Committee on Roads and Transportation regarding the poor state of Mudhatari Siakago Road in Embu County. The Deputy Speaker of the Senate is already in the chambers this afternoon. Allow me to hand over for this live broadcast. My name is Gladys Mungai. Enjoy your viewing.
Let's pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to be honored with your abundant favor and blessings as your servants who have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Clerk, confirm whether you have quorum. Sergeant Tatams, laying the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
It is at 10 minutes quorum bell at the Senate at the commencement of business at 2:30 p.m. this afternoon. Owing to lack of quorum in the House when the House is commencing business this afternoon. So we have a 10 minutes quorum bell as directed by the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Kathuri Murungi, currently presiding over the business of the Senate. And as we await for the signals from the chamber to ascertain that indeed the House has quorum to commence business, allow me to take you through the agenda before the House on the order paper this afternoon, where the House is set to resume debate on the Environmental Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 23 of the year 2024 by Senator Abdul Haji. Away from that, the House is equally set to resume debate on the County Civic Education Bill, this being Senate Bills number 4 of the year 2024 by nominated Senator S.C. Okenyuri, the Creative Economy Support Bill.
Order number 2, communication from the Chair.
Do it faster. Honorable Senators, I have a communication to make. That is on the sessional paper number 1 of 2025 on the foreign policy of the Republic of Kenya, the Commission on Revenue Allocation, CRI recommendations in the county governments, the current expenditure and budget settings for the financial year 2025-2026, and the Commission on Revenue Allocation, recommendations on the 4 basis for revenue sharing among county governments for the financial years 2025-26 to 2029-2030 financial years. Honorable Senators, as you may recall, at the morning sittings of yesterday, Wednesday, 12th February 2025, the Senate Majority Leader laid on the table of the Senate the following documents. 1. Sessional paper number 1 of 2025 on the foreign policy of the Republic of Kenya. 2. The Commission on Level Allocation, recommendations on the county government's recurrent expenditure and budget settings for financial year 2025-2026. And 3. The Commission on Level Allocation, recommendations on the 40 basis for revenue sharing among county governments for financial years 2025, 2026 to 2029, 2030. Honorable Senators, you can sit at the next seat where you are. With respect to the first document, at a meeting held on 21st January 2025, the Cabinet approved the sessional paper number 1 of 2025 on the foreign policy of the Republic of Kenya. The Cabinet further authorized the transmittal of the sessional paper to Parliament for consideration. The sessional paper presents a comprehensive framework for conducting the nation's foreign relations and diplomatic engagements. I hereby direct that sessional paper number 1 of 2025 on the foreign policy of the Republic of Kenya be committed to the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations for consideration. And the committee will be required to scrutinize the paper and undertake public participation on the sessional paper and submit a report to the Senate within 30 calendar days. Honorable Senators, the other two documents relate to the recommendations of the Commission on Revenue Allocation on recurrent expenditure settings for county governments for financial year 2025-2026 and recommendations on the 40 basis for revenue sharing among county governments for financial years 2025-26 to 2029-2030. As honorable senators are aware, Article 217(1) of the Constitution states that once every 5 years, the Senate shall, by resolution, determine the basis for allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government. Honorable senators will recall that the first basis was approved on 27 November 2012 and was used to share revenue for the financial years 2013, 2014 to 2016, 2017. The second basis was adopted by Parliament on 21st June 2016 and was geared towards the provision of adequate financing to counties, correction of economic disparities, and minimization of the environment gap and stimulation of economic optimization, and incentive to counties to generate revenue. This basis was used to share revenue for financial years 2017, 2018, and 2018-2019. The third basis was approved on 17 September 2020 and has been used to share revenue among the county governments for financial years 2020-2021 to 2024-2025. Senators, you can have your seats. Can you be a bit faster, Senator Kataya? Senator Chimera. Pursuant to Article, Senator Chimera, you're out of order. I'll kick you out of this house. No. For the 2-3 session, you must be aware what happens in the chamber. Pursuant to Article 217(2) of the Constitution, in making its determination, the Senate is required to request and consider recommendations from the Commission on Revenue Allocation. Take the criteria stated in Article 203(1) into account. Consult the county governors, the Cabinet Secretary responsible for finance, and in organization of county governments, and invite the public, including professional bodies, to make submissions to it on the matter. Honorable Senators, in connection to the recommendation from the Commission on Revenue Allocation on the recurrent expenditure for county governments, Section 107(2)(a) of the Public Finance Management Act states that, and I open the quotes, pursuant to Articles 201 and 216 of the Constitution, and notwithstanding subsection 2, the Commission on Revenue Allocation shall recommend to the Senate the budgetary settings on the recurrent expenditures of each county government. Consequently, and upon the tabling of the two documents in the Senate, I hereby direct that the Commission on Revenue Allocation recommendations on expenditure ceilings for county governments for financial year 2025-26 and on the 40 basis for revenue sharing among county governments for financial years 2025 to 2026 to 2029-2030 be committed to the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget for consideration. I urge the committee to expeditiously consider the two matters, noting that the recommendations are earmarked for the next financial year, which begins on 1st July 2025. Yes, Senator Boni.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know, now that you've laid you've made the communication on the CRA formula for sharing revenue, whether I would be allowed, Mr. Speaker, as a senator with an interest in Kakamega and in Kenya in general, to express my anger for only 1 minute. If you allow me, I'm very angry. I want to express that anger so that it is on record, Mr. Speaker. Yes. I have no doubt, Mr. Speaker, that the committee will be up to it. But, Mr. Speaker, we were in Naivasha.
I'm very much, even you sit in that committee. And we have all the time now to interrogate the formula, to call the stakeholders, including the CLI and anybody else, for that matter. So now, this business is right in the committee. We have placed it at the right place for interrogation by the senators, including the senator for Kakamega, the senator for Narok, senator of Nairobi, senator of Kitui, yeah, senator of Meru. We have that opportunity now. We'll be coming to a committee because we have a lot of interest in the formula. Senator Rendama.
Mr. Chairman, I think, Mr. Speaker, sir, what the majority whip was trying to communicate is that we had a way forward, and we discussed that so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel again. Mr. Speaker, just give me a minute. We don't have to reinvent the wheel again and vote 10 times. Before the committee looks at this, whether the two sides can be able to appoint other members to work together with the committee so that this issue of the revenue can be dealt with, apart from leaving that work only for the committee to do. So I think that is the message that he was trying to convey, because we had a way forward after we finished our retreat.
Let us benefit from the wisdom of the senator for Kitui County.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I hear what my colleagues are saying. And I think the problem here is because we have already had a chance to see this document before it was formally now committed to the House. So that opportunity, the Speaker, to see that document then should just inform our interaction with the document when it is properly before the Senate. And now the document is before us. Let the committee take hold of that document. Then all of us, of course, are friends of that committee because all of us have an interest in that document. In fact, the Speaker, without going to the debate of on that document, I would be very hesitant to have a situation where a few senators are appointed to go and sit with the Senate Committee on Budget and Finance. I would actually rather that thing is open to every member, and we do it here on the floor of the House so that everybody has got an input into that document. The Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. I think you have given a good way forward. And, this Senate can only interact with any documents, any information through the respective committees. And where I sit, I've no doubt in my mind that the Committee on Budget and Finance will be able to guide us. And when they require us to sit on Akamkunji, we are very ready to do that. So let us give the opportunity to the committee to interrogate the document, and then they will report back to the Senate. It's only that, Senator Bone, you know that this is a very urgent matter which should be expedited so that we close that matter before the financial year starts in July. Next on the clerk.
Order number 3, messages.
Next on.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next on.
Order number 5, papers.
Yes, there are papers to be read by the majority leader and also Senator Wakili Hilary Sigei.
I beg to lay the following papers on the table of this Senate today, the 13th of February 2025, being 1, the 2025 Budget Policy Statement, 2, the 2025 Medium-Term Debt Management Strategy Paper, 3, Draft Division of Revenue Bill for 2025, 4, Draft County Allocation of Revenue Bill for 2025, and 5, Draft County Government's Additional Allocations Bill for 2025. Mr. Speaker, reports of the Auditor General on the financial year 2024, representing the financial statements of the City of Kiambu, namely the County Executive, County Assembly, County Government of Kisumu, County Revenue Fund, the Receiver of Revenue, Revenue Statements, the Kisumu County Revenue Board, the Kisumu Emergency Fund, the County Assembly of Kisumu Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund. 13, the Kisumu County Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund, the Kisumu Education Fund, the Kisumu County Alcoholic Drinks Control Fund, the Kisumu County Social Health Insurance Fund, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital, Kisumu County Referral Level 5 Hospital, Ahero County Level 4 Hospital, Chulaimbo County Level 4 Hospital, Nyakach County Level 4 Hospital, Kombewa County Level 4 Hospital, Ojola Sub-County Hospital, Lumumba Sub-County Level 4 Hospital, Migosi Sub-County Hospital, Kisumu Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Gulf Water Services Limited, Nyanash Water and Sanitation Company Limited, the Kisumu Lakefront Development Corporation, the Kisumu County Climate Change Fund, report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Maboko Municipality for the year ended 30th June 2022, and the report of the Auditor General on financial statements of Maboko Municipality for the year ended 30th of June 2023. Not to mention report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Kangundo, Tala Municipality for the year ended 30th of June. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also have reports of the Auditor General, which I lay, on financial statements of Machakos County for the year ended 30th of June 2024 as follows: Maboko Municipality, Kangundo Tala Municipality, the County Executive, the County Assembly, the County Revenue Fund, and the Receiver of Revenue. Mr. Speaker, furthermore, I have Machakos County Executive Committee and Chief Officer's Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme, Machakos County Assembly Housing and Car Loan Scheme Fund for members of the County Assembly, aka MCS, Machakos County Assembly Housing and Car Loan Scheme for the staff. Mr. Speaker, these also include Machakos Level 4 Hospital, Level 5 Hospital, Kimiti Level 4 Hospital, Mitutini Level 4 Hospital, Masinga Level 4 Hospital, Ndidhini Level 4 Hospital, Matu Level 4 Hospital, Kalama Level 4 Hospital, and Mwala Level 4. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, allow me to put on record that when I was working as a medical officer in Machakos District, we founded Mwala Health Center, which has now become Level 4 Hospital. Mr. Speaker, finally, but I also have Kadiani Sub-County Hospital, Maboko Water and Sewerage Company Limited, Mwala Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Yata Water Services Limited, Kadiani Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Matungulu, Kangundo Water and Sewerage Company Limited, and finally but not least, Municipal Council of Machakos Water and Sewerage Company Limited. I lay, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Okay. Senator Sige Hilali, there's a paper you're supposed to read.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 13th of February 2025. This is the joint report of the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs and the Senate Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on its consideration of the report of the National Dialogue Committee, that is NADCO, and the report of the Multi-Sectoral Working Group on the realization of the two-third gender principle. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay, and I thank you.
Under Senators, there is Senator Kisang, Senator Morakina. I want to give guidance on some of the papers that have been laid. There's this communication on consideration of the 2025 budget policy statement by the Senate. No, just have your seats. Yeah. Thank you for understanding the standing orders the way they should be, not running here and there, like what Senator Kisang is doing. Honorable Senators, I have a communication to make relating to the budgeting process for the next financial year. As you may have noted, the Senate Majority Leader has tabled the following documents. 1, the 2025 budget policy statement. 2, the 2025 medium-term debt management strategy. 3, the draft revision of Revenue Bill 2025. 4, the draft county allocation of Revenue Bill 2025. And 5, the draft county governments and additional allocations Bill 2025. Section 25 of the Public Finance Management Act and Standing Order 186 of the Senate requires the National Treasury to prepare and submit the budget policy statement to Parliament by the 15th of February each year. Honorable Senators, as you are aware, the budget policy statement is an important financial instrument that sets out the broad strategic priorities and policy goals that will guide the national government and the county governments in preparing their budgets, both for the following financial year and over the medium term. It contains, among other things, 1, Honorable Senators, kindly, when the Speaker is giving communication, Senator Chute, you should listen to the Chair when he is giving communication. One, an assessment of the current state of the economy and the financial outlook of the medium term, including the national macroeconomic forecasts. Two, the financial outlook with respect to government revenues, expenditures, and borrowing for the next financial year and over the medium term. And three, the criteria used to allocate or apportion the available public resources among the two levels of government and various programs and projects. Four, the proposed expenditure limits for the national government, including those of Parliament and the judiciary, and indicative transfers to county governments. And five, the fiscal responsibility principles and financial objectives over the medium term, including limits on total annual debt. Honorable Senators, as you are also aware, Section 25(7) of the Public Finance Management Act provides as follows: that Parliament shall not later than 14 days after the budget policy statement is submitted to Parliament table and discuss a report containing its recommendations and pass a resolution to adopt it with or without amendments. With respect to consideration of the budget policy statement in the Senate, Standing Order 186-4 states that upon being read before the Senate, the budget policy statement shall be committed to each standing committee to consider and submit its recommendations to the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget within 7 days. Pursuant to Standing Order 186-5, the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget is required within 12 days following the tabling of the budget policy statement, consider the budget policy statement and the recommendations received under paragraph 4 and table a report for consideration in accordance with Section 25(7) of the Public Finance Management Act. Honorable Senators, cognizant of the importance of the budget policy statement and the above timelines, I direct that the budget policy statement be considered by all standing committees. Each committee is expected to concentrate on matters that fall under its mandate and highlighting any policy and financial recommendations thereof. These recommendations should be forwarded to the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on or before Thursday, 28th February 2025. Thereafter, the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget will be required to consider the recommendations from the other standing committees, as well as to consult the institutions referred to under Standing Order 186-6 in finalizing its report on the budget policy statement. The Standing Committee will be required to table its report on or before Tuesday, 25th February 2025. Consequently, the Senate will be required to consider and make a determination on the report by the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget by Thursday, 27th February 2025. Honorable Senators, in a nutshell, it means that any proposal that Senators have regarding the budget policy statement, the draft Division of Revenue Bill 2025, the draft County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2025, the draft County Governments and National Allocations Bill 2025, and the financing structure therein, among other recommendations, must be canvassed and forwarded to the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning for consideration when finalizing the budget for the relevant financial year. Who is the senator walking around the chamber when the chair is on his feet? Can you go back where you are to the bar? This is a requirement pursuant to Section 25(8) of the Public Finance Management Act and Standing Order 186-9 of the Senate. In conclusion, I urge all standing committees to prioritize the scrutiny of the budget policy statement, taking into consideration our most important function of protecting the interests of counties and their governments and safeguarding devolution. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notice of motion.
Senator Sigei Wakili. Today, yes, proceed. It's on joint report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I recall that the confusion is occasioned by the fact that I've already laid the paper on the floor of the House. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to give notice of motion in terms of consideration of the joint report of the National Assembly Department Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs and the Senate Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on its consideration of the report of the National Dialogue Committee, NADCO, and the report of the Multi-Sectoral Working Group on the realization of the two-third gender principle. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate adopts the joint report of the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs and the Senate Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on its consideration of the report of the National Dialogue Committee, NADCO, and its consideration of the report of the National Dialogue Committee, NADCO, and the report of the Multi-Sectoral Working Group on the realization of the two-thirds gender principle laid on the table on Thursday, today, 13th of February, 2025. Mr. Speaker, I move. Thank you.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable Senators, you have statements and standing order 53-1. We start with Senator wa County ya Mombasa, Senator Mohamed Faki Mwinyi Haji.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuomba kauli kutoka kwa kamati ya afya kuhusiana na kuzorota kwa huduma za afya katika kaunti ya Mombasa. Mheshimiwa Spika, nimesimama kwa mujibu wa kanuni za kudumu namba 53(1) ya kanuni za Senate kuomba kauli kutoka kwa kamati ya afya kuhusu kuzorota kwa huduma za afya katika kaunti ya Mombasa. Mheshimiwa Spika, kaunti ya Mombasa inajivunia kuwa jiji la pili nchini na pia kuwa na bandari inayohudumia kando na nchi yetu nchi kadhaa za ukanda wa Afrika Mashariki ikiwemo maziwa makuu, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Kongo na Sudani Kusini na hata vile Ethiopia. Mheshimiwa Spika, vile Mombasa ndio jiji lenye uwanja wa ndege wa kimataifa katika eneo zima la kanda ya Pwani na ndio makao makuu ya eneo la Pwani. Hivyo basi Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kaunti ambayo inahudumia watu wengi na serikali ya kaunti inapaswa kujitahidi kutoa huduma kwa kiwango cha hali ya juu. Mheshimiwa Spika, afya ni huduma muhimu sana na iliyogatuliwa na hivyo na ndio ilivyokuwa huduma iliyoboreshwa zaidi na serikali ya awamu ya kwanza katika kaunti hii. Ni masikitiko Mheshimiwa Spika kwamba baada ya muda wa miaka miwili tu ya serikali iliyoko huduma zimedorora kuliko ilivyokuwa hapo awali. Hakuna pesa zozote za serikali ya kaunti inatoa kwa vituo vya afya ili kuboresha huduma kwa wananchi. Mheshimiwa Spika, naomba unilinde hapo kwa sababu mimi nasoma taarifa naona kuna majadiliano ya watu.
Sasa unalindwa kutoka kwa Senator Monteti nashindwa, unaomba kulindwa vipi?
Yes. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna Masai hapa nyuma. Mheshimiwa Spika, katika kauli hiyo kamati iorodheshe hatua ambazo serikali ya kaunti ya Mombasa imechukua kusuluhisha tatizo la hali mbaya inayoendelea kudorora ya utoaji wa huduma za afya, ikizingatia kuwa kuna upungufu wa madaktari, wauguzi, wachunguzi wa maabara na hata walinzi wa malango na maeneo ya hospitali na zahanati nyingi za kaunti ya Mombasa. Pili, Mheshimiwa Spika, ibaini sababu zilizopelekea serikali hiyo ya kaunti ya Mombasa kuonekana kupuuza uboreshaji wa huduma kwa kutoshughulikia miundombinu kama vile ukarabati wa majengo ya vituo hivyo, hususan hospitali ya Chuda, Mheshimiwa Spika, ambapo hivi majuzi mgonjwa aliangukiwa na dari wakati anasubiri huduma katika hospitali hiyo. Mheshimiwa Spika, vile vile zahanati za Maweni na Ziwa la Ng'ombe ambazo huvuja na hufurika maji wakati wa mvua, pamoja na usambazaji wa maji safi ya mifereji. Mheshimiwa Spika, tatu, ieleze hatua ambazo zinachukuliwa na serikali ya kaunti kununua na kuboresha vifaa vya kuhudumia wagonjwa kama vile mashine za X-ray, MRI na ambulensi na kadhalika. Ikizingatiwa kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, MRI ya kaunti nzima inapatikana katika hospitali ya Coast General pekee, na mashine hii mara kwa mara inakwama kwa sababu ya uwezo mdogo na vile vile kuhudumia watu wengi kwa wakati mmoja. Mheshimiwa Spika, katika kaunti ya Mombasa tuna ambulensi 4 pekee yake ambazo zinafanya kazi kuhudumia kaunti nzima ambayo ina wodi 30 na vile vile maeneo bunge 6 katika kaunti hiyo. Ieleze namba 4, Mheshimiwa Spika, sababu zilizochangia serikali hiyo ya kaunti kupatia vituo vya afya mapato wanayokusanya kwa matumizi yao, yani Facility Improvement Fund, pamoja na sababu zilizofanya serikali hiyo kutoa agizo kwamba vituo vya afya havina ruhusa kuajiri vibarua, licha ya kwamba vibarua hao wamekuwa kihudumu kwenye vituo hivyo kwa muda mrefu. Namba 5, Mheshimiwa Spika, ifafanue mantiki ya kulipa mishahara ya wahudumu bila kununua dawa wala kujenga chochote, ikiwa ni pamoja na kushindwa kuchukua hatua ya kubadilisha mapaa ya asbestos. Mheshimiwa Spika, jana kulisoma taarifa hapa kuwa asbestos inaleta saratani. Mapaa ya asbestos yaliyopigwa marufuku humu nchini kwa kuhofia kusababisha ugonjwa wa saratani, ili hali kuna pesa zilizotengwa kwa kusudi la kutoa huduma hizo za afya kwa wakazi wa Pwani na Mombasa. Mwisho, Mheshimiwa Spika, ifanye uchunguzi ili kubainisha chanzo cha kudorora huku na ichukue hatua zinazofaa ili kuhakikisha kuwa wananchi wanapata huduma zinazostahili, pamoja na kuchunguza sababu ambazo zilichangia kutotumika kwa hospitali ya Shonda katika eneo la Likoni na vile vile Marimani katika sehemu ya Kisauni zilizomalizika kujengwa mnamo mwaka 2022. Mheshimiwa Spika, asante kwa fursa hii.
Thank you, Senator Faki. Senator Hamida Kibwana. Senator Hamida Kibwana or anyone nominated by her.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll read on behalf of Senator Hamida Kibwana. There are 2 statements, Mr. Speaker. One is on mental health and work conditions on medical interns. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the tragic death by suicide of Francis Njuki, a medical intern at Thika Level 5 Hospital on November 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, this incident came just 2 months after the death of Dr. Desiree Mora, who until her death by suicide was a medical intern at Gatundu Level 5 Hospital in Kiambu County. This highlights the urgent need to address rising mental health concerns and toxic work conditions faced by medical interns in Kenya. The death of these young medical professionals are not only individual tragedies, but also a stark reminder of systemic issues within our healthcare system. It is imperative that the Senate takes swift action to ensure the safety, well-being, and dignity of all those who dedicate their lives to serving our nation's health. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, the committee should, 1, investigate the working conditions and schedules of medical interns at public hospitals, specifically addressing claims of excessive working hours and poor working environment. 2, examine the existing mental health support programs available for medical professionals, particularly interns, and recommend enhancement of these programs to prevent such tragic outcomes. Number 3, assess the role of hospital administrations and the Ministry of Health in safeguarding the welfare of medical interns, including measures taken to address their grievances and provide mentorship. Number 4, the committee should provide a detailed report on policies governing the development, deployment, supervision, and work-life balance of medical interns and propose reforms where necessary. And finally, Mr. Speaker, recommend actionable steps to create a safe and supportive working environment for all medical professionals, with a particular focus on addressing mental health challenges within the sector. The statement is signed by Senator Hamida Kibwana, who is nominated senator. The second statement, Mr. Speaker, is on the agreement for supply and lease of medical equipment to county health facilities. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the viability of agreements entered into by the Ministry of Health and county government under the National Equipment Support Program, NESP, for supply and lease of medical equipment to county public health facilities. In the statement, the committee should, 1, disclose the names and credentials of suppliers contracted by the Ministry of Health under the National Equipment Support Program, NESP, to supply and lease medical equipment to county public health facilities, explaining how the said suppliers were selected. Number 2, the committee should provide a detailed schedule of payment made by each of the county government under NESP in the 2024-2025 financial year, highlighting any deductions made directly from the county government equitable share of revenue raised nationally, if any. Number 3, explain the role of the respective county governments and the Council of Governors in the negotiation and execution of the agreement under NESP, outlining the steps taken to ensure strict compliance with public procurement laws. Number 4, the committee should explain the role of the state measures put in place to ensure the supply medical equipment meet the required standards and are appropriately utilized once delivered to the health facilities. And finally, the Senator would like the committee to outline measures put in place to ensure that the agreements for supply and lease of medical equipment are financially sustainable for county governments in the long term. Signed, Senator Hamida Kibwana. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Olekina, for holding brief for Senator Hamida. I call upon Senator Richard Onyonga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1, Mr. Speaker, to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries regarding the impending dissolution of the Pyrethrum Processing Company of Kenya, which is located in Nakuru. Mr. Speaker, the PPCK owns a significant portfolio of assets, including extensive tracts of prime land and valuable properties across various counties of this republic. Mr. Speaker, these assets represent public wealth accumulated over decades, and it is imperative to establish certain facts, including who currently holds the titles of these properties, the fate of these assets following the intended dissolution, and the impact of this dissolution and what impact this dissolution will have on stakeholders, especially pyrethrum farmers and company employees who have actually been making a profit as they run this corporation. Mr. Speaker, the PPCK, which is the Pyrethrum Processing Company of Kenya, which is a government parastatal, does not have a board of directors as we speak. Mr. Speaker, in this regard, I therefore request the committee to explain the reasons behind the move to dissolve the company and the fate of the employees who have been working in that company, some of them close to 25 years. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I would want the committee to conduct a detailed review of all the properties owned by the Pyrethrum Processing Company of Kenya with a view to establish the status of these assets and to ensure that public resources are safeguarded. Number three, Mr. Speaker, I would like the committee to provide a report of the PPCK's financial status, operational challenges, including a full impact assessment with consideration of a potential to restructure this corporation instead of dissolving it, since it has been making a profit in its operations. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I would like the committee to outline measures that the Ministry of Agriculture is taking to ensure that farmers, employees, and other affected parties are consulted to find an amicable way on how this matter could be sorted out. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for a few minutes.
Thank you, Senator Onyonka. Now, finally, we call upon Senator Alex Mundige.
Request for statement on the poor state of the Mudatare, Kiamuringa, Siakago Road in Embu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, a right person to standing under 53.1 to check a statement from the Standing Committee on Loans, Transportation and Housing regarding the poor state of the Mudatare, Kiamuringa, Siakago Road in Embu County. In the statement, the committee should, 1, state the budgetary allocation in the current financial year for the recuperating of the said loan, which spans a length of 26 kilometers and which serves as a vital link to part of Manyata, Bere South and Bere North constituencies. 2, explaining whether the said budgetary allocation is sufficient for the repair works, and if not, recommend measures that will be deployed to adequately fund the road works. And 3, find out whether the Ministry of Loans and Transport has prioritized renovation of the said loans as a matter of urgency, and further accuse the Minister to visit the said loans to assess in condition and come up with accurate estimate for purpose of allocating sufficient funds for the rehabilitation of the loans. Senator Mundigi, Embu County.
Thank you, Senator Dr. Mundigi. You forgot today to make reference to your title, Dr. Mundigi. Thank you, honorable members. I will allow comments for those who would be interested to comment on the statements read out on behalf of Senator Hamida Kibwana, by Onyonka, and Senator Mundigi, as well as Senator Faki. Senator Mungatana, Senator Sifuna, or the requests are for previous. Okay, Senator Sifuna, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wanted to briefly comment on the statements by Senator Faki and Senator Hamida, but before I do, Honorable Speaker, this is the last sitting of the week before a major event happens in Addis Ababa. And I'm happy that Senator Olekina is back from Addis. He was there overnight to just ensure that everything is okay. He has assured me that everything is going well, and that after this sitting, he will also be leaving back for Addis to ensure that everything goes. I wish Baba well, and I wish the team that is there representing as well. The rest of us are here holding fort. Honorable Speaker, we have treated the people who work in our medical institutions with absolute contempt. I remember last year, in the last session, medical interns were seated here, and we as a House had made a promise to them that we were going to support them to ensure that not only are they absorbed into the workforce, but also that they are treated well and fairly and remunerated in accordance with their qualifications. I remember the big debate on whether interns were actually interns in the sense of the word that is used, as is used in other professions, or whether these were in fact qualified medical practitioners, Honorable Speaker, and full doctors who were being mistreated. I remember there was a long period where there was a doctor strike. Dr. Khalwale remembers that period, and we thought that all these matters have been resolved. Honorable Speaker, we speak to some of these interns, and some of them who were lucky to get employment in places like this gentleman in Thika Level 5, others in Nakuru, even here in Nairobi. Honorable Speaker, some of them, after being out of employment for so long, after being promised good working conditions, even those counties are not paying them salaries. Some of them have arrears of up to 3-6 months, Honorable Speaker. So as a House and the Health Committee that has just been reconstituted, we really need to be serious about our medical health practitioners. Yesterday, Honorable Speaker, we were talking about the way the community health promoters are being treated. I had occasion, together with my delegation from Nairobi of senators, Honorable Speaker, to have a meeting with a section of the county health promoters in Nairobi, the community health promoters in Nairobi. And Honorable Speaker, the horror stories that we had from that group requires that we as a House do something. Honorable Speaker, you can imagine people going to work without basic protective equipment. Here in Nairobi, Honorable Speaker, when it rains, and most of these community health promoters are working as frontline workers in places such as our slum areas, Honorable Speaker. When it rains, you cannot go in there without proper shoes or gumboots. Honorable Speaker, can you imagine the community health promoters in Nairobi numbering over 7,000 asking a senator like myself to buy them gumboots because the county government is unable to supply them with these gumboots? When I speak to the management at Bata, Honorable Khalwale, one pair of gumboots is going at 700 shillings, Honorable Speaker. Everybody knows my salary, and you know what the taxman has done to our pay slips, Honorable Speaker. How can a senator be expected to spend 5 million shillings on buying gumboots for community health promoters, and yet we resource our county governments properly for them to be able to equip our community health promoters to work for us? Honorable Speaker, when we talk about the deteriorating levels of health services in the counties and the statement that was brought by FACI, we also need to look at the financing element for our hospitals. I was speaking to the CEO of Mbagathi Hospital today, Honorable Speaker, to just find out the status of the repayment by SHA. And this was prompted because when I looked at my pay slip again, I am being deducted 32,000 Kenya shillings every day, and we were told that this is going to be the panacea of all our problems in the health sector. The CEO at Mbagathi tells me that they are billing SHA shillings 4 million per day. And if you do the math, it is over 120 million shillings per month that SHA is supposed to pay Mbagathi Hospital. But SHA is paying Mbagathi Hospital a measly 15 million shillings per month. How are they supposed to provide services, Honorable Speaker? As we speak today, the social health assurance owes Mbagathi Hospital alone 400 million Kenya shillings. And then we expect these hospitals to serve the people of Nairobi. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we must raise these issues, and we want the committee that has been charged with these two statements to ensure that they come to the bottom of all these issues so that we are able to not only treat our community health promoters and the medical interns and everybody who works in the health sector with dignity, but also are able to unlock the problem of financing from SHA. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, at the invitation of the Senator of Mandera, me and some colleagues, and I can see has walked in, visited the health facilities in Mandera. And one of the things is that many of the equipment that had been procured under the medical leasing scheme, those contracts are coming to an end. And the information we gathered from Mandera is that the suppliers of the new equipment are putting very onerous terms in terms of percentages of the money that is supposed to be paid to those suppliers on these county governments. They told us it is as high as 60% of the payment that is paid for that service is required to go back to the medical supplier, the equipment supplier. So as a Senate, we must bring those contracts into focus here, and I want to urge the Health Committee to ensure that this is done so that our people can enjoy proper health facilities. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Samson Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, I want to, from the onset, to thank you for giving me this opportunity. I want to support the statement by Senator Mohamed Faki, Senator 001 from Mombasa, for this wonderful statement. Mr. Speaker, sir, I agree. I thought Mombasa is better. In terms of poor service delivery of health services, Nandi should be number one in poor service delivery. Mr. Speaker, because in 1st December 2024, I did visit Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, which should be our referral facility. Mr. Speaker, I remember you calling me that you saw the pictures and you saw the pathetic and dilapidated situation at Kapsabet County Referral Hospital. Mr. Speaker, some of us who have worked this journey of devolution, we have always thought that can we form National Health Commission? Because the crisis that you see in Mombasa, in Nairobi, in Nandi, among other constituencies, Mr. Speaker, among other counties, is saddening. Even I remember you lost a child at, is it Kaplong or is it Tenwek? Yeah, because of negligence in Bomet Hospital, that a young child, because of negligence. Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei, that was in Longisa Hospital, and the second one was in Cheptalal Hospital.
Yeah, both in Longisa and Cheptalal, Mr. Speaker. So those are just grim statistics, Mr. Speaker. Right to health should be very basic to every Kenyan. Mr. Speaker, and sometimes, you know, some of us don't want to encourage clawback or functions to national government. But when we see statistics such that the poor health facilities and provision of poor health services in Mombasa, Mr. Speaker, we always feel sad and imagine, can we claw back the health function to national government? Will it be better? Those are questions that many Kenyans ask, Mr. Speaker. Because out of 196 facilities that I have in Nandi, among level 4 hospitals and the main Kapsabet County referral, there is nothing to write home about, Mr. Speaker. We must ask ourselves the hard question that why is it that Kenyans go to health facilities and they cannot get drugs? Why is it that Kenyans walk in and the watchmen are giving drugs like it was happening? A Form 4 dropout in Turkana County was dispensing drugs, Mr. Speaker. You know, we need to be serious, Mr. Speaker, because it is very unfortunate. And I want to thank Senator Faki. I want to ask Senator Faki, through the committee of Senator Mandago, if he's elected the chair of health, Mr. Speaker, should even begin a commission of inquiry into the state of health facilities across the 47 counties, Mr. Speaker. Even Kissi County, there is nothing to write home about, Mr. Speaker. So I want to encourage, Mr. Speaker, Senator Mandago-led committee to not only look at Mombasa County, let them even request, Mr. Speaker, this to be a precursor of inquiry on the state of health across 47 counties, Mr. Speaker. Because Nandi, my people are suffering, Mr. Speaker. Even today, as we're talking, if they are not suffering in hospital, they are suffering in towns. They were being evicted by governor today, Mr. Speaker, from their own main market. And I know Senator Oburu knows Kapsabet very well, because on several occasions he asked me at Kapsabet about Kapsabet town, that they have been evicted, Mr. Speaker. You are suffering when you are well, and you are suffering when you are in hospital, Mr. Speaker. So I want to thank Senator Faki, and I expect that the deputy ODM party leader to do better. And I want to send the ODM deputy party leader, Mheshimiwa Otsotsi. Can you encourage Governor Abdul Samad? It is not the tradition of ODM to perform poorly. And as the Secretary General of ODM, Senator Sifuna, please, you need to pull up your socks. You can even, as a party, invite your governor, and so that we don't need to embarrass him in public, so that we don't need, Mr. Speaker, we don't need Senator Sifuna, Mr. Speaker. Can read the Riot Act. You know the SG has so many powers, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sifuna, what is your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, the constitutional mandate of oversighting county governments is vested in only one institution, and that institution is the Senate, for which the member of Nandi is a member. Is it in order for him to demand that a political party, which he knows does not have the same powers as his house, rein in members of the Council of Governors, even if they belong to my political party, Honorable Speaker.
Order, Senator Sifuna. And of course, Senator Cherargei, you are aware of exactly what Senator Sifuna has said. It is not within the province of the party to do oversight, nor is it in the province of the Secretary General of the ODM to rein on his members to act. However, it is your mandate as a senator and as a member of this House to make sure that we firm up and do what is right, that is to protect devolution and protect the county governments. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know why.
You are reminded that you are a member.
Yes, I'm a member of PAC, Mr. Speaker. But I don't know, Sifuna should pick a side. Because when it is convenient, he says ODM is doing very well. But when the ODM performs poorly, he wants to disassociate from ODM deputy party leader. Mr. Speaker, I agree that we have the oversight role. But I was just challenging him as the Secretary General and to assist the governor of Mombasa to run county of Mombasa, because Mombasa County, I elected an ODM governor, Mr. Speaker. Number two, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, order. Senator Abdul, order, please. Let's allow Senator Cherargei to be heard in silence.
Yes.
If you are consulting, please do so in low tones to avoid disruptions in the House. Proceed.
So I hope I can see Senator Sifuna is taking notes, and also Senator Sifuna Otsotsi to follow up. Number two, and finally, Mr. Speaker, is on the issue of poor state of Motari, Kiamaringa, Siakago Road, brought by Senator Mundiki. I want to thank Senator Mundiki, Mr. Speaker, because I have never seen Senator Mundiki bringing any other statement about any other place except Embu. It shows that Senator Mundiki loves the people of Embu with all his heart. And we were there with him, Mr. Speaker, sometimes back. This road must be fixed. I am told we have a pending bill of roads close to 1 trillion Kenya shillings, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask members of the Senate that there is a public participation on tolling of roads. The government wants to raise 230 billion. Even as we try to toll our roads, that 230 billion that we are trying to raise, Mr. Speaker, and also under road maintenance levy fund that has been fought by the Speaker, by the governors, Mr. Speaker, we should allow the tolling of our roads for the maintenance of our roads, especially this road from Mutatari up to Siagago Road. And in fact, Mr. Speaker, I want to ask Senator Mundigi, because I had a chance of overflowing through Mau Mau roads, that road has been designed to go to Nyeri. I want to request, Mr. Speaker, that Senator Mundigi bring so that we vary and include on Mau Mau roads, so that as it goes to Nyeri, the dwelling from Muranga all the way to Nyeri under Mau Mau roads, they should be included into Embu and Siagago and Mutatiri Road, Mr. Speaker, because I believe Mau Mau were also roaming in Embu, and Mau Mau also belong to Embu, Mr. Speaker. So I want to challenge, even in Mau Mau roads, this issue of Embu must be included, Mr. Speaker, and it is no offense that Senator Karungo Dangwa should also allow that we include in Mau Mau road so that the people of Embu can also benefit, Mr. Speaker, but allow members that as the public participation on tolling of roads, please let us members participate, so that when we pass something, Mr. Speaker, we don't come and complain again. So, and even in Nandi, Mr. Speaker, you remember my issue. The Nandi Semaki Road, it has not been fixed. The one from Chemuswa Danger has not been fixed. The one from Kargang or Kurgung, all the way to Chepterwai, to Chepsaita, you know Chepsaita very well, your friend comes from there, to all the way to Mudete, Mr. Speaker, has not been fixed. The one from Meteite, all the way to Wazingishu, where Senator Mandago comes from, has not been fixed. The one from Chepterit, all the way to Moi University, is now rejected, Mr. Speaker. The one from Masop, Kabngetich, Ngechek, has not been fixed, Mr. Speaker. So this issue of roads that has not been fixed, Mr. Speaker, is that we must work towards it to ensure that we fix our roads across the counties that we have, Mr. Speaker, going into the future. Mr. Speaker, I support and commend Senator Mundigi for bringing this issue, and I want to wish everybody who is traveling to Addis all the best. I'm told the prices of air tickets have gone up to 250,000 by economy. So I want to wish all members who are going to Addis all the best and safe flight. and we hope that it shall be well. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I support and I thank you.
Allow everybody to contribute who is interested to limit the extent of the time we will spend to 3 minutes per senator, so that we have an opportunity as members to contribute to it. I do believe that is reasonable in the circumstances, and whoever is speaking henceforth, let's limit to 3 minutes per senator. I will allow Senator Maruma Jones Mashusha.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa hii fursa umenipa ili kuchangia ombi kutoka kwa Senator wa Mombasa Mheshimiwa Faki kuhusu kudorora kwa hali ya afya mjini Mombasa. Mheshimiwa Spika, mji wa Mombasa ama hospitali za mji wa Mombasa ni muhimu sana, kwa sababu tukiangalia kama hospitali ya Pwani Coast General inasaidia kaunti inazozunguka za Pwani kama Taita Taveta, Kilifi, Kwale, Tana River na zinginezo. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni hospitali ambayo iko kimkakati, ama kwa kizungu Mheshimiwa Spika, iko strategic, kwa sababu inahudumia kaunti zote hizo. Na tukisikia kwamba hali ya afya katika hii hospitali imedorora, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni jambo la kuhuzunisha na ni jambo la kutia wasiwasi. Mheshimiwa Spika, nilikuwa na mswada hapa mhula uliopita, na nafikiri wakati huu pia nitauleta, wa kuangalia ni vipi hospitali ya Coast General inaweza fanywa hospitali ya rufaa, kwa sababu ina umuhimu mkubwa sana. Mheshimiwa Spika, kaunti ya Mombasa ni kaunti ambayo ina watalii wengi, kwa hivyo ni lazima kuwe kuna huduma ya afya ya kutosha na ambayo iko katika kiwango cha juu. Mheshimiwa Spika, jana Mheshimiwa Spika, tuliambiwa na Senator Miraji ya kwamba kuna mgonjwa alitoka hospitali ya Taita Taveta kwa kukosa huduma za kujifungua, na ikabidi aende kwa hospitali huko Mombasa. Na kama Mheshimiwa Spika, hospitali ya rufaa ya Coast ingekuwa nzuri ama Coast General, basi angepata matibabu, lakini ilibidi aende hospitali ya private. Mheshimiwa Spika, na alienda Aga Khan, na sasa ile pesa anadaiwa ni zaidi ya milioni 9, na huyu mama hakufua dafu kuendelea kuishi. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kusema ya kwamba ni vyema county governments ziangalie hali ya afya ya hospitali zetu. Kwa mfano, Senator Miraji alitoa hoja jana ya kwamba huyu mama ambaye hakutibiwa ni kwa sababu serikali ya kaunti ya Taita Taveta haikulipa SHIF. Mheshimiwa Spika, huyu mama alikuwa tayari ashakatwa ile pesa, lakini pesa haikufika kwa SHIF na hakupata huduma za afya. Hii kaunti ya Taita Taveta, Mheshimiwa Spika, tuliita katika Senate kamati ya health, na walikuja wakasema ya kwamba wakaahidi ya kwamba watalipa hii pesa. Mheshimiwa Spika, la kushangaza ni kwamba mpaka saa hizi hawajalipa hiyo pesa. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri tufuatilie, kwa sababu kulikuwa na milioni 800 ambayo ilikatwa kwa wafanyikazi wa Taita Taveta na ilikuwa kama pending bill. Tutasukuma hiyo na Taita Taveta ifanyiwe special audit ili pesa yote ambayo imekatwa wafanyikazi ipate kulipwa kwa SHIF, ili wafanyikazi wapate huduma za afya. Mheshimiwa Spika, na kuna hii hoja Mheshimiwa Spika imeletwa na Senator Hamida Kibwana ya kuhusu Managed Equipment Scheme ama MES. Mheshimiwa Spika, kaunti nyingi bado zinapata huduma kutoka kwa MES, lakini haieleweki ile mkataba ya kuwa ni nani atafanya repair ama huduma wakati zile mashini zimeharibika.
Senator Maruma, your time is up. Senator Mungatana Buya Danson.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to comment only on one statement. This is the statement on nominated Senator Kibwana on the Ministry of Health National Equipment Support Program. Mr. Speaker, I had the rare privilege yesterday of addressing the Tana River County Assembly, and thereafter, Mr. Speaker, we sat with the members of the County Assembly. And one of the issues in a private now Kamkunji, one of the issues that came up, Mr. Speaker, is about the maintenance of medical equipment. Mr. Speaker, when these equipments get messed up or they get broken down, it takes a whole year. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the engineer or the repairman who was supposed to fix some equipment in Hola Referral Hospital, after 2 years, finally, he arrived 2 weeks ago. After 2 years, Mr. Speaker. So the X-ray equipment is brought, and then it cracks somewhere along the line. The county government is paying every month to the national government under these agreements, and yet the service is not there because the equipment is broken down. Mr. Speaker, we need to review this equipment, and the question then must be asked, why is the national government interfering with health, which is a county government function? Why is the national government continuing with, unconstitutional agreements where they are forcing county governments like Tana River county governments to pay for services and equipments that we are not benefiting from? Mr. Speaker, these equipment, they have broken down, but the county government is still being forced to pay. Mr. Speaker, I want to support this statement and urge that when the Committee for Health sits down to engage, they should also invite all of us who are affected so that we can give them more information to deal with this matter effectively. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Ledama Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to comment on two statements. One, the statement by the distinguished senator from Mombasa, Senator Faki. Mr. Speaker, this Senate has got one critical function, is to defend our counties and their interests. This picture, which has been displayed here by Senator Faki about the health facilities in Mombasa, is the same across the country. I think it's imperative that we really become serious in pushing for at least these county governments to just focus on delivering one service, just healthcare. Mr. Speaker, as I comment on this statement, because of my short time, I'll be remiss not to comment on the statement by Senator Hamida on the medical equipment scheme. In the last parliament, we had medical equipment scheme. We had a huge scandal. All these equipments which are being leased, and then the hospital have got no drugs. Those hospitals that have got equipment, they are dilapidated equipment. Seriously, I think we just need to be serious. And I concur with the distinguished senator from Tana River and say that when the Committee of Health, which I'm happy to be part of the member, will be investigating this matter, we should open up to all the members so that we can actually be able to go across all the 47 counties. Today, I even want to propose that we stop all the budgets of flying out of the country for anything else. We concentrate this year on going to all the 47 counties. We look at the health facilities and we take our governors to task. It is ridiculous. You heard what Senator Sifuna said. If now it is us during our oversight trips that we are required to buy gumboots for medical, for community health practitioners, what exactly are we talking about? And have you looked at the budget for SHA, Mr. Speaker? If only SHA is getting 25 billion shillings this year alone in the 2024-25 budget, and they cannot be able to support the communities, what exactly are we doing here? We are lying to yourself that we care about health facilities. In fact, people out there should start looking at these governors. Only vote for a governor who can deliver at least even one thing. Let them not say they are developing what? If they cannot be able to help you in your health care, basic welfare of citizens, then what exactly are we doing? So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to call upon all of us here. It's quite seldom that all of us are here and we really become invested in a matter that changes the life of our citizens. We are here, we are called honorable because we are given that opportunity by the citizens in our...
Senator Wakwali Wafula.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Ningependa kusisitiza hoja ambayo Mheshimiwa Faki ameweza kuibua hapa kuhusiana na hali ya afya katika kaunti ya Mombasa. Mheshimiwa Spika, hospitali ya Mombasa ina mapacha katika kaunti tofauti. Na mapacha hawa wanafanana kabisa Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, tulizungumzia masuala ya matabibu wanaojitolea ambao hali yao ni ya kudhoofisha na kusononesha sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna wahudumu wengine katika hospitali zetu ambao kwa wiki kadhaa sasa wamekuwa kwenye migomo Mheshimiwa Spika. Kaunti ya Kissi, kaunti ya Bungoma, nimeona kaunti ya Nairobi wanafanya mazoezi Mheshimiwa Spika, Mombasa. Maswali ni je, Mheshimiwa Spika, itakuwaje kaunti za humu nchini ikiwemo kaunti ya Bungoma kwa na mustakabali ama makubaliano ya urejesho wa kazi kwamba kutakuwa na marupurupu ya kununua mavazi, kutakuwa na kupandishwa kwa hadhi ama madaraka kwa madaktari hawa kwa wakati unaostahili, lakini wanapouliza nafasi hizi ama makubaliano haya wanatishwa mshahara kusimamishwa na wengine kazi kusimamishwa Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati umefika magavana wajibike. Viongozi hawa, madaktari hawa wako kwenye migomo na magavana hawataji ama kuonyesha kwamba kuna shida katika kaunti zao. Mimi nashukuru Maulana Rabuka kwa kunipa nafasi kwa mmojawapo wa kamati ya afya katika jumba la Senate. Mheshimiwa Lekina na wengine tulivalia njuga swala hili. Tutembee katika kaunti hizi na tuwataje kwa majina na kuwaeleza kinagaubaga kabamnasi ya umma wale ambao kwa sasa wako katika nchi za ng'ambo wanafanya utafiti na kuzuru miradi ya ng'ambo, ili hali kwao nyumbani ni aibu tele na haitupi sisi moyo kwamba wao ni magavana. Mheshimiwa Spika, baadhi ya hospitali zetu hazina madawa. Wamejenga hospitali gushi, majumba yasiyokuwa na matabibu na madaktari. Lakini cha muhimu Mheshimiwa Spika, wanajenga vyumba
Senator Wafula, your time is up and you are actually not on the mic. Thank you for your contribution. Senator Boy Isa Juma.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kunipa fursa hii na mimi niweze kuchangia hii mada ambayo imeletwa na Senator Mombasa, Senator Mohamed Faki. Mheshimiwa Spika, kusema la kweli hospitali ya referral ya Coast General Hospital ni hospitali ambayo tunaitegemea sisi sana upande wa pwani. Ya kusikitisha, Mheshimiwa Spika, hivi karibuni kama mwezi jana, kuna kijana mmoja mdogo ambaye ana kama miaka 2 au miaka 3 alizaliwa kule Kwale County. Huyo mtoto ni mvulana, lakini katika jinsia ya kiume pale, katika jinsia yake imeingia ndani sana, ikabidi awe referral aletwe Makadara. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi mwenyewe binafsi nilikwenda nikamwona daktari mkuu Dr. Kandwala ambaye alinisaidia sana, akarifaa huyo mtoto kwa specialist wa watoto, lakini baadaye ikaangalia kwamba huyo mtoto imeshindikana pale Mombasa, hakuna daktari ambaye aweza kumfanyia ule upasuaji ule mtoto. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, hii hoja ambayo imeletwa na Mheshimiwa Faki hapa ni ya muhimu sana, kwa sababu kama Mombasa Coast General Hospital ni hospitali ambayo ina rifaa, yatakana iwe na madaktari ambao wamebobea, madaktari ambao wanaweza kutibu watu, na sio mgonjwa aletwe iwe hakuna madaktari. Upande mwingine ukiangalia madawa, pia utasikia madawa hakuna. Mheshimiwa Spika, hili ni jambo la kusikitisha sana, hasa hiyo kesi ya huyo mtoto. Mimi kama seneta wa jimbo la Kwale nitajaribu kadiri uwezo wangu, nikirudi safari hii nataka nihakikishe huyo mtoto nimlete Nairobi ili aweze kupata huduma ambayo itawezekana. Kwa hivyo naunga sana hoja hii ya Mheshimiwa Faki. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Karungu Thangwa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also comment on a few statements that have been raised by especially Senator from Mombasa on the issue of medical services and medical the treatments in the Mombasa hospital, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's not just Mombasa that is not giving proper medical facilities. It's across almost all counties, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this not only affects the patients, it also affects the nurses and the doctors who are working at those facilities, Mr. Speaker. But as a Senate, Mr. Speaker, we have been handed a golden opportunity. And a golden opportunity is coming up with the revenue sharing formula, Mr. Speaker, that you'll see that we give more money to the counties. And I would urge this House and urge the Budget Committee, Finance and Budget Committee, to introduce a parameter when they're doing the scrutinizing this report, to have a revenue sharing index that is based on health, Mr. Speaker. Why am I saying that? Mr. Speaker, you know health is universal. You cannot stop one person to go to a certain hospital. People leave their counties to go to other counties seeking for health services, Mr. Speaker. For example, Thika Level 5 Hospital in Kiambu, we get patients from all the way from Garissa who come to the hospitals, Mr. Speaker, from Machakos, from Muranga. So if we cannot use the health index when we are sharing money to the counties, Mr. Speaker, we will continue experiencing this issue of poor health facilities, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, remember some of these counties, or some of these people from these counties who visit these hospitals. They come from counties that are poorer, that have received more money because they use the poverty index, Mr. Speaker, on those counties. Yet, those counties are becoming poorer than before, Mr. Speaker. What I'm trying to say is we have been handed an opportunity to solve this issue by making sure that we give more money to counties that are giving proper medical services, Mr. Speaker. And lastly, on the statement by Hamida, it is very sad in Kiambu County, in a span of 4 months, we have lost 2 medical interns by way of suicide, Mr. Speaker. This shows that we need to interrogate Kiambu County government. We need to interrogate the Kiambu hospitals, because we have lost Francis Njuki from Thika Level 5 4 months ago.
Senator Karungo, your time is up, and they definitely have heard you. Senator Eddie Okech.
Thank you so much, Chair. Before I say anything, I think this being a last session, Chair, I think it's in order to wish our candidate as a country and as a nation, and of course the president of this country, because he is going to be a voter in the Addis Ababa. We wish our candidate, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, well in Addis Ababa. We have sent quite a good team there to give them moral support, but I wanted to make it clear to the country that any MP who's going there that I know of is self-sponsoring. These things are not sponsored by state. Even me, I've sponsored some MPs who do not have resources to go there. So it is self-sponsorship, it's not state-sponsored. Everyone is going there to support in their own capacity. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of health statement by Senator Faki, I do really agree with this statement, and I hope that the committee will do a good work to help the county government think it through. But even as we do that, Mr. Speaker, I would want to emphasize that one of the biggest challenges that these big counties face, like Mombasa and Nairobi, is that they don't only serve their own native or indigenous populations. They tend to support a number of big populations from outside those counties. If you think about Mombasa, it's serving Kwale, it's serving Kilifi, it's serving Taita Taveta in terms of people who live in those areas, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, one thing that we must fight for is that the BPS right now is going to read to this House a 4.6 trillion budget. I would want us to see that we fight for more money to come to the devolved healthcare, because about 50 billion that counties get, even if they were to divide, they can barely just invest about 1 billion in healthcare. But then the national government still remains a lot of money when it comes to healthcare, only to deal with issues of policy and to deal with the 5 national referral hospitals. And this is something we must critically look at and make sure we allow counties to get more money. And I also want to inform my brother Chirargei that actually Kissi County is not doing bad, at least on this area. That I can tell you comfortably, that Kissi County has got a lot of challenges in terms of healthcare, in terms of placement of the little they get, because what we need, Mr. Speaker, I haven't even finished saying my point.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's...
And that 10 minutes before the expiry of time, the mover shall be called upon to reply, and further, that priority in speaking shall be given and accorded to the leader of majority party and the leader of minority party in that order. Honorable members, I now put the question that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 97-1, this House orders that each speech in a debate on other committee reports, including a report of a joint committee of the Houses of Parliament, or any other report submitted to the House for which limitation of time has not been specified, shall be limited as follows. A maximum of 2.5 hours, with not more than 20 minutes for the mover in moving, and 5 minutes for any other member in speaking, including the leader of majority party and the leader of minority party, and the chairperson of the relevant committee, if the committee report is not moved by the chairperson of the relevant committee. And that 10 minutes before the expiry of time, the mover shall be called upon to reply, and further, that priority in speaking shall be accorded to the leader of majority party and the leader of minority party in that order. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 13, procedural motion, limitation of debate on the address by the President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the procedural motion on limitation of debate on the address by His Excellency the President. Honorable Speaker, that noting that Standing Order 24-6 provides that debate on a motion on the address by the President shall be limited to not more than 4 sitting days, and pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 97-1, this House orders that debate on a motion on the address by His Excellency the President under Article 132(1)(a) of the Constitution be limited as follows: a maximum of 30 minutes for the mover in moving, 20 minutes for the leader of the minority party, and 10 minutes each to the chairpersons of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs to speak on the report submitted under Article 132(1)(c)(1) of the Constitution relating to the realization of the national values. The chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations to speak on the report submitted under Article 132(1)(c)(3) of the Constitution relating to the progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic. And the chairpersons of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security to speak on the report submitted under Article 247 of the Constitution relating to the state of the security of the country. And 5 minutes for any other member speaking, and that 10 minutes before the expiry of the time, the mover shall be called upon to reply. Honorable Speaker, I would like to request the Honorable Mwengi Mutuse, the MP for Kibwezi, to second.
Before you second, allow me to recognize the students before they leave. I wish to recognize the presence of St. Patrick's Hill School from Kajiado West Constituency, Kajiado County, who are seated in the public gallery. I also wish to recognize Mary Hill Girls School from Thika West Constituency, Kiambu County, who are seated in the public gallery. On behalf of the members of the National Assembly, we wish you pleasant proceedings. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I second.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that noting that the Standing Order 24(6) provides that the debate on the motion of the address of the President shall be limited to not more than 4 sitting days, and pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 97(1), this House orders that the debate on the motion of the address of His Excellency the President under Article 132(1)(a) of the Constitution be limited as follows: a maximum of 30 minutes for the mover in moving, 20 minutes for the leader of minority party, and 10 minutes each to the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs to speak on the report submitted under Article 132(1)(c)(i) of the Constitution relating to the realization of our national values. The chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Affairs to speak to the report submitted under Article 132(1)(c)(3) of the Constitution relating to the progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic. And the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security to speak on the report submitted under Article 247 of the Constitution relating to the state of the security of the country, and 5 minutes for any other member speaking, and at 10 minutes before the expiry of time, the mover shall be called to reply. Honorable members, I now put the question that noting that the Standing Order 24(6) provides that debate on a motion on the address of the President shall be limited to not more than 4 sitting days, and pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 97(1), this House orders that the debate on the motion of the address by His Excellency the President under Article 132(1)(a) of the Constitution be limited as follows: a maximum of 30 minutes for the mover in moving, 20 minutes for the leader of minority party, and 10 minutes for each to the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs to speak on the report submitted under Article 132(1)(c) 1C1 of the Constitution relating to the realization of national values. The chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Affairs to speak on the report submitted under Article 132 1C3 of the Constitution relating to the